bring some good to your community. Now, this program in and of itself is a very new program for Seekers Guidance, and a program similar to the one that Al-Ghazali Center has been doing for some time. It is a program in which we bring together people in their communities to study, to be able to, subhanAllah, be able to build strong bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood. So I've asked those who have interest to be able to join us here tonight. We're going to be able to answer some of your questions and be able to speak a little bit about the Seeker Circles. And those of you who would like to host a Seeker Circle in your community or help bring one to your community, I'm also here to respond to some of those questions and help you and guide you to be able to do that. So let us begin in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most merciful, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send peace and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So first of all, a little bit of why this program has come about. Studying online has its deficiencies without doubt. You don't have that same access to the teacher, and also you don't have a set classroom to stay within, and you don't have the fellow students around you to be able to study beside, to be able to get that encouragement as well. Now, Seeker Circles actually seeks to basically remedy that, to be able to help students to have a time that they meet each week, that they have people who they bond with, other fellow seekers of knowledge, and to be able to have access to teachers. Of course, the teacher will still be over the internet, but you'll still have that exclusive access to teachers, and this will be for free as well, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may Allah bless our teachers for providing this service for free. Now, the program itself is meant to be housed within study circles. So meaning that it's not meant for people to watch this on their screen by themselves at home. If you want to do that, you can take other classes. But this is meant for people to come together, to be able to spend time with their brothers or with their sisters, to be able to spend time with them and to build bonds. So, for example, if you're taking one of our online classes, one of the Seekers Guidance classes, and I hope you do, you're there behind a desk, and there might be just up the street someone who is attending that same class, but they are not there sitting with you because you don't have a physical classroom to sit within. So Seeker Circles will bring people like-minded, people who are interested in increasing in their knowledge and getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, closer together into one location. And so if you're already attending a halaqah or a study circle, or you're looking to establish one, Seeker Circles is an excellent way, mashallah, is an excellent way to be able to bring people together for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, the way the Seeker Circles are set up is that we need one person in each community to be able to be that coordinator for that area. That person will have contact directly with me, and they'll be like the responsible person for that area to set up that halaqah. In a sense, you're kind of like the TA. You're the TA for that area. You're there to make sure that the place is ready for the students to show up, your brothers and sisters to show up, that the internet is fine and working, that if there is material that is meant to be downloaded and read, like that day or even that night, that you have it printed out and ready for people to be able to read and look over, and that you provide an atmosphere which is conducive to learning, an atmosphere that is mature, an atmosphere that's mature, that is not too much going on, so people can make sure that they pay attention to the class as it's going on, and that it's punctual, that it is punctual. So it starts on time. It starts on time. Because at the same time too, you're going to be representing Seekers Guidance and the Al-Ghazali Center in your community, and they themselves have, their own criterion. They have their own criterion as well, and it'd be disappointing for us, not even just the teachers, but for us, that as students, that we don't observe these correct etiquettes of respecting their knowledge that they give us and the time that they spend. So you want to start each week on time. Now, the Seeker Circles itself is 8 weeks. So if, for example, you can't start this week, you can go ahead and start a week later. That's fine. But more than that is really not acceptable. You should follow each week. You could set up each time that you want to meet. You could set that up each week with those around you, because the material will be available to you, exclusively to you, if you follow through with if you are accepted, and if the registration is completed and you become that community's coordinator. You'll have a direct link. You'll have a link actually to an exclusive site that with your password you'll be able to access it and be able to get the weekly course material. So you'll be in charge of getting that material and putting it online. Now, we also have some technical issues too, and forgive me if I'm just saying a whole lot. What I want to do is I want to be able to get across a lot of this, so if you have any questions we can get to it. And a lot of this, actually all of this, at least the majority of it, is in your, and if you have not received it already, it is in a SeekersGuidance, SeekersCircles Coordinators Guide, alright, which I have sent to many of you already. Unless you have not registered and you're viewing this live publicly, and you're free to do so, please. But please just send to Circles at SeekersGuidance.org if you have not received it, or go to our website and register online for to register your interest in being a Circles host. Now, as a Circles host, again, you'll have to not only provide that environment, but you'll have to have a laptop, and we also ask that you have a projector screen, which will add to the it'll add to the experience itself. So everyone's not just sitting around looking at a computer. They're able to actually look at it projected onto a wall or an area. So you might want to maybe talk to an Islamic center that's near you, or a community center, or even a college campus, and ask them if you could borrow this, or preferably if you can host the Seeker Circle at that location. Now, Imam Afraz Ali, may Allah preserve him, he has been hosting this now for, I believe, like 8 to 10 years, hosting a similar program in Australia for about 8 to 10 years, and what he's asked over there is that people are only allowed to do this in community centers or in Islamic centers, and we would like to eventually go to that, but we've kind of decided for ourselves that we would like to open it up first to allow people to do it at their homes, but we strongly encourage that to make this even more beneficial for your community, to host it at your Islamic center, to host it at your mosque. Because this will not only bring together you and maybe the close friends who you're already thinking of forming this with, but it'll open up the door to so many people to benefit. It'll open up the door for so many people to benefit, because it's not just you who is looking for this type of group, this type of halaqah, this type of study circle. It's not just you. If you're looking for it, other people are looking for it. So many people are looking for this type of connection with their fellow brothers and sisters. So by looking to your local Islamic center or even college campus and asking to host it there for 8 weeks, I think there'll be more barakah in it for you, and there'll be more barakah in it for your community. But if for some reason your local Islamic center has some issues, then we'll allow you to host it at another location. But again, we strongly encourage that it's hosted at your local Islamic center. And subhanAllah, like those of us who have hosted something similar before, you really see the barakah of those who come out, people who you never would have expected even, who come out, who really enjoy who really enjoy the experience. So with that general introduction, I want to kind of see if there are any questions that people have so far. Again, those of you who have received it, I hope you've looked over your telecast guide, and if not, you've printed it out and are looking over it right now as we're talking. And I'd like to go over any questions that you might have, any issues that you might have about how I can help you bring a seeker circle to your community. So if you have any questions, please put them at the link, put them in the box right below us, and I will try to respond to your questions. Okay, good. Tausif, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Jazakallah khair. I will, so you asked, can you highlight some points we can make to highlight the value of the halaqah over simply watching lectures by oneself? The Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned to be with the group, and that the shaitan, the devil, is further away from the two than the one. And that he who seeks paradise, let him be with the jama'ah, let him be with the group. Islam, subhanAllah, has a major emphasis upon bringing people together. And one of the downfalls, now online learning itself it's an alternative to sitting with a scholar. Now, not everyone has that type of scholarship within their community, and not everyone has that access, but by making it online, it is an alternative, and it's the best alternative to not being with anyone or just listening to lectures. You have that online classes where you are studying with someone. But you really miss out on sitting with fellow students, and those who've had experiences where they're at some sort of course or intensive, subhanAllah, where you're with other students, sometimes the other students will have as much, if not more, of an impact sometimes than the teacher, him or herself. Just by sitting with other people, it gives you the courage and it gives you the strength. SubhanAllah. Just being around students of knowledge, and seeing how dedicated they are. That in of itself just helps us to follow through with what it is that we want. What it is that we want out of this world and the next. Assalamu alaikum. My main question, wa alaikum assalam. My main question is, my community is very small and isolated. We have about 100 Muslims spread out over about a 50-mile area. I regularly am able to get to a few people who are interested in learning fiqh and knowledge. Sometimes there might be a few people, and sometimes it might even be just me. Can we still try to do a circle? Actually, Shadali, I remember seeing your email earlier, and we have thought about this, and we decided that in some areas that are so small, we will allow the minimum to be, to relate that. So if you have a small community and you would like to bring that community together, even if it's a small group, then we have decided to do that. Just let us know as we're working together, and we will, inshallah, work together, the size of the community that you're going to be working with, because it also allows us to know how effective the groups are as well. We want to get as much benefit as possible. So, any other questions? Follow-up question. What sorts of practical advantages will there be to this halaqah? How will the students have access to the teachers? Will we need to collect people's emails, etc.? Alright, good question. Now, Tosif and everybody as well, what we're looking for is we're looking for people to be the official coordinator. You'll in a sense, you'll be a volunteer for SeekersGuidance. You will be a volunteer for SeekersGuidance, where you will have to coordinate that area. You're in charge of that area. So you will have to coordinate, basically if you've been involved in a halaqah before, a study circle before, you know that you want to get everybody's emails, you want to be able to know how to contact people, maybe their phone numbers, and maybe even want to let people know, maybe even advertise that, hey, this thing is going on, would you like to be a part of it in your community, and then collect their information. And then it is upon the host, the coordinator, inshallah you, to be able to speak with everybody there. Now myself, I'm the director of the circles. I'm going to be in contact with the host. I'm not going to be sending out emails to everybody. I'm sending out an email, and I'm in communication specifically with the host of that community. And if they have any questions, they can direct them to me, and I respond to them. But they're the Amir or Amira, in a sense, of that community. And so yes, they are in charge of collecting the emails. They're in charge of coordinating it. Okay? So we're looking for responsible people who have the time to do this. If you don't have the time to do this, I don't want to discourage you, but at the same time too, I don't want to provide a bad service to people. I don't want to provide a bad service to people. I want people to, when they experience this seeker circle in their community, I want them to feel like, yes, I want this again, and I love this. So I hope that answers your question. Again, feel free to bring them on. Are Seeker Circles classes available as SG courses, or are these circles teaching exclusive content? Good question. The Seeker Circles courses are exclusive, meaning that you have to be part of a Seeker Circle to obtain this material, to obtain this content. So basically, we have a theme. We have a general theme that the Seeker Circles will follow, and that curriculum focuses on topics which will increase your faith, which will increase your brotherhood and sisterhood. So now this is our first official one, but we did have a small Seeker Circle before we went public, and this was just to make sure things were nice before we made it official and officially announced it. And that was on prohibitions of the tongue. And so you see, this one is about how to treat basically fellow people in your community, how to treat them with respect, what to say, what not to say. And of course the Prophet ﷺ had mentioned that how the tongue itself gets so many people into the hellfire. So may Allah protect us from misusing it and forgive us for times when we have. Let's see. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can we offer this halakha as part of one of the services offered by our learning center? Ilm Foundation, yeah, subhanallah. I remember receiving your email, and we're actually looking for, if I understand your question correctly, we're looking for exactly that. That is the optimum. If we could find places which are already an institute and already an Islamic center providing services, and they provide this as part of it, Allahu Akbar. We're really looking for making this as public as possible, but at the same time too forcing people to come together to gain those advantages. So if the Ilm Foundation is interested in hosting this at their center, like Bismillah, like subhanallah, that is what we're looking for. And I was very happy when I saw your email coming in that your foundation wanted to host it. Let's see, yes, of course. So as for connecting with Imam Afraz and Ustada Zainab, will students have any access to Q&A forum the way we do for the courses? Now this is something we're working on right now, but you do have access to ask them questions via email. All right, you do have the opportunity to ask them questions via email. Presently, we're working on some sort of forum for the Seeker Circles. Now, I have actually created the Facebook, which is some way of asking. You can people can ask me questions or something like that. Although I'd prefer that they address them to the host, and the host addressed it to me, so I don't have too many people to respond to. But there you can also ask questions, maybe have discussions. I encourage discussions, actually, more so discussions between people on the Facebook page. That's what I really want to see. But until that time, as we create a forum, because Seekers Guidance is in the midst of redoing some of their website, and hopefully by the end of this year we'll see a new one, and that should, inshallah, include a forum for people to ask questions of their teachers, which will make it more public and more accessible. My primary concern in asking is that some might simply see this as similar to watching YouTube vids while hanging out with the bros, etc. Well, you know what, I tell you what, this in and of itself has a structure to it. You know what, there are some great videos on YouTube. You know, there are some great videos on YouTube, and there are some videos that, subhanAllah, you're very surprised that people would even post. If a group together wanted to get together and for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to have this type of thing, you know, Bismillah. But what makes this different, it provides that structure. Now on the YouTube, you can actually ask questions of the Shaykh or the Shaykha. You know, here you can ask questions. The YouTube is not going to have reading material that you're going to cover, but here it's going to have reading material that you're going to cover. This first class that we're going to go through, the beginning of guidance, subhanallah, like if you've not looked at this book already, you'll see so much barakah, subhanallah, so much guidance really in this text. It really breaks down how the servant and the seeker of knowledge should be with their Lord, how the seeker of knowledge should be with others, and how the seeker of knowledge should be with themselves. And you're learning this from a teacher who will answer your questions that makes sure you understand that material correctly. And there's nothing that can compare to that. There's nothing to compare actually being able to ask a teacher to clarify questions, to make sure that you understand this. And this text itself, just to speak about the text as well that we're going to be covering, if you take a look at Islamic studies curricula, right, and you see what scholars have studied and what they say should be one of the earliest texts that a seeker of knowledge should study, one of these texts is the one we're going to be covering in this course, the beginning of guidance. So it is such a crucial and foundational text for us to look at, to understand, to imbibe, and to, inshallah, act upon. So, any other questions there? Okay, so feel free to continue to ask your questions, and I hope to release this video also online in a recorded version, and people can also ask me questions as well through there. So, Tausif, you said the primary Q&A form is email. As of right now, that's how I understand it, but we are working on clarifying that. So I feel that this is the main value proposition for this. Yeah, I agree. But step by step, you know. And also, we are working towards making it more available. And again, through the Facebook page, you can have discussions there with other people. And with locations in all over Australia, we also have it now in Bosnia, South Africa, the East Coast, inshallah, the West Coast. We also have some people from Pakistan and also Saudi Arabia who are asking to host classes there, these courses there. So you have an opportunity to even get into discussions with people from a wide variety of backgrounds and areas. So that is also a, alhamdulillah. So you got to think beyond just that circle in your area. Even if you only have, a few people in your area that come through, you are part of a larger study circle. You're part of a larger study circle that you can at least have contact with through the Facebook, and all of you are studying that same text. SubhanAllah, and you never know, you might even meet each other at such programs like the RIS. Be like, oh, SubhanAllah, You're so-and-so? Yeah, I'm from California. You're from, Boston. Now we meet each other. Like, Allahu Akbar. So it's so you kind of have to think outside, the circle there. And at the same time, too, if you make it with the right intention, if you have that right intention, subhanAllah, like you're doing it for the sake of Allah, subhanAllah, if you do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have it in your own heart that I'm really trying to imbibe this material, I'm really trying to understand this material, then even if only a few people show up, and sometimes less than that, but God willing that won't happen. But if even only a few people show up, you'll derive immense benefit from making that commitment to study from a teacher. You'll derive immense benefit. And when the community sees the benefit, when the community sees the benefit that you've derived, that others have derived, they will want to be part of it. So this one circle, which is happening actually beginning next week, which goes on for 8 weeks, we're going to have 3 more. And the intention is to have 4 of these study circles a year, right? 4 of these a year. So when you get your group of people together, you can definitely, plan to meet again. So when another seeker circle comes around, you can meet again for that time. And watch, like when you continue and you make that intention, the numbers will grow. And I'll tell you this, that it will grow because the product is good. I believe 100% in the product. Excuse me. I believe 100% in the product. And I believe 100% in our teacher, Imam Afraz Ali, and Ustada Zainab Ansari. And we're also looking for other teachers. It's not going to be them each time. We're looking for other teachers as well. We have plans for the future, Allahu Akbar, about what great classes and teachers we're going to have as well, providing exclusive material to the seekers of knowledge in each community. Alhamdulillah, and I'm very excited to be part of that. Perhaps you can emphasize whether or not prior knowledge is necessary for these seeker circles, since material is provided from SG. Assalamu alaikum, Sadia. Actually, prior knowledge is not really necessary. What we're looking for actually is someone who can professionally put together the class. We're looking for an organizer, in each area. That's really, you just have to be professional. You have to treat this with respect. You don't necessarily, as a TA, you're not necessarily, and I'm using that term, we don't really call them TAs, they're really the area coordinator, the Seeker Circle area coordinators is what we hope you and other people here will be. But they just need to be able to provide the atmosphere, to set up the room, to be accommodating and welcoming, to smile at the seekers of knowledge as they enter, into the room, say Assalamu alaikum, and make sure that everything's on time. You're not asked to provide any of the answers to the questions, that the teachers are asked to provide those answers. And again, to go back, we are in the midst of providing more ample ways for the attendees to be able to ask questions. So don't let that be an issue. Don't let that be an issue. Make the first thing to be able to bring people together for the sake of studying knowledge and for the sake of brotherhood and sisterhood. And actually, I have a lot of hopes for what this will eventually turn into in the future, inshallah, if yourself and myself stick with this and the benefit it can bring to the community. But we'll let that hang in the air for now. Final question, inshallah. What kind of materials in particular will be provided for the circles other than access to the videos? There'll be actually reading materials. There'll be reading materials that are sent out. Now, we'll be covering a book, so there might be actual pages that are assigned, or the teachers might decide to send out additional reading material besides the reading material will have in the book. So you're encouraged to purchase the book for yourself. I have not heard from Imam Afraz Ali whether or not he's going to make the reading material available, via PDF. Again, there's copyrights issues there, unless he knows of a translation which is available that for free. But I really do encourage those of you who are interested to purchase the latest edition of the Beginning of Guidance, which has been translated by, it's a bilingual translation with tashkil as well. So you can actually look over in the English and look over at the Arabic. And those of us who are like myself, who's still, learning the Arabic language, to be able to look at one and the other, and to be able to understand both is subhanAllah, a great learning tool. Yes, this is the one edited by Mufti Ibrahim ibn Yusuf, Hafidullah, may Allah preserve him. So, and he has a lot of experience actually with this text. He's taught this text himself, and I've attended some of those classes, and mashallah. So those of us who are Hanafis, basically one of the great things that Mufti Ibrahim ibn Yusuf adds to the text is that, Imam al-Ghazali rahimahullah ta'ala, he was a Shafi'i, and so he wrote the text, and part of the text includes fiqh. It includes spirituality, and subhanAllah, includes interaction with people, and part of that fiqh includes a Shafi understanding. And Mufti Ibrahim ibn Yusuf, he actually puts in footnotes the Hanafi understanding of some of the rulings. So it's actually a great way, those of you who are interested in better understanding prayer and wudu, it's actually a great way to learn, I think, because you're learning how to pray, how to make wudu, and at the same time too, you're learning how to spend your day. Again, I could have made this whole talk about just this text. It's a beautiful text, but I want to stick specifically to the circles. So let's see. Marcy Johnson on Facebook, she asked, where will the text come from? Again, I personally encourage everyone to purchase this text for themselves and to have their own copy. This is a text which I really do believe you'll derive a lot of benefit from. I have not heard from Imam Afraz whether or not he's going to provide the reading material itself. So just like any other course, you want to make sure you have that. And I do believe I think it's like, somewhere between $16 to $20. I'm not sure how much the book is. Maybe, people within a community or within a circle can come together and share a copy, of the text. Again, you'll derive a lot of benefit from that. And so, okay, Tausif, you put a link on there. Instead of my going to the link, can you just tell me how much you see it on there for? So, but this is a great text. $12.95. Okay, mashallah, Allahu Akbar. Yeah, and you'll get so much knowledge. Now, just a little bit about this text, and this will help you in speaking to other people about it. He wrote this later on in his life, Imam al-Ghazali did, rahimahullah ta'ala, when after writing the Ihya al-Ulumuddin and several other texts, I believe even the Alchemy of Happiness he'd already written, and one of his students had asked him, Ya Imam, can you just provide for me something? Because the Ihya al-Ulumuddin is a voluminous book. It is 40 books, and even when he summarized it in the Alchemy of Happiness, it's still a rather large text to cover. And so someone asked him, can you provide me something that can just show me how to spend my day? Just show me how to spend my day, And so, subhanAllah, Al-Ghazali saw the sincerity of the student who just wanted to get some sincere advice on how to get closer to Allah and how to spend his time. And he wrote this text, and it covers from how to wake up, what du'as to say, to how to then get ready for prayer, how to make wudu, how to pray Fajr, what to do from Fajr till sunrise, how to spend sunrise until you go to work. If you don't go to work, what should you do with your time? What to do between Dhuhr and Asr, what to do between Asr and Maghrib, what to do between Maghrib and Isha, and how to spend the evening time, and that's just part one. Then it talks how to spend time with a teacher, how to be a teacher and spend time with a student, how to spend time with and treat your parents, family, brothers, sisters. And then it ends with matters of the heart. And subhanAllah, it is a great text. It is a great text. So I encourage those of you who see the link that Tausif Jazakallah Khair posted to go ahead and take a look at that. So any more questions? I could keep going on and on about this text, but that's for Imam Afraz to do, and Ustada Zainab Ansari, and we're excited to have both of them teach us this text. I encourage all of you to take a look at your weekly telecast guide for Seekers Circle coordinators, and to look over this material. And don't be too overwhelmed about the material here. We just want to make sure everything is clear, that you know what's expected, because they're dealing with a large mass of people, so we want to make sure everything was written down and clear. That basically it comes down to, we need people in each area who could set up that community, is the main person I speak with to make sure that everything's running smoothly. They're the ones who access the links and then broadcast it in their community, and they make sure that people there have a good experience. And there's tremendous blessing in this. Don't forget that whether you're inviting people to your home or where you're hosting it at an Islamic center, which again I encourage that most of all, imagine the fact that, or recognize the fact that these are seekers of knowledge you're calling to. These are seekers of knowledge you're calling to. And you don't even know, subhanAllah, you through bringing this, your life might actually change, or you might change the life of somebody else for the better, just by showing them a little glimpse of sacred knowledge. Just a glimpse, just a taste, of sacred knowledge might really change somebody's life in your community or for yourself. And really, this is what it's all about. Seekers Guidance and the Al-Ghazali Center, subhanAllah, they're full of great people who just want, subhanAllah, to share the blessing of sacred knowledge that they've received from their teachers, and to pass it on to those of us who are in dire need of it. And may Allah bless them. And I'm honored to have even this small part to what they provide, subhanAllah. So may Allah bless us, and may Allah bless our teachers. May Allah bless all of those who help to bring knowledge, subhanAllah, knowledge to their community. Allahu Akbar. This is, knowledge is deep. Knowledge is life-changing. The seeing, the blind is not like the seeing. The deaf is not like the speaking. Right? And the one speaking, who's the one that's speaking? The one is the one speaking the truth. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's the one that's speaking. That's the one who's really speaking. Right? That's the one who's really speaking. So, before I close, and feel free if you still have any questions while I'm closing, I'll get to them. But if not, I'm gonna begin closing. You have, if you've already registered or you have not, if you have not registered, let me say that one first of all. Please go to SeekersGuidance.org/SeekersCircles and look at the material there and register at the bottom. Registering means that you're interested in hosting. Not that you're interested in attending, that you're interested in hosting a Seeker Circle in your area. Okay? And I will send to you a Seeker Circles telecast guide. It's about just a few pages, and it just discusses what we expect of the host and what we will provide to the host as well. So it's basically like an agreement, so both people understand what's going on. And then I'll also send you a proposal to host this fall's Seeker Circle. Now this is actually meant for if you're addressing this to a Islamic center or a community center, that most of the time they have a board of trustees, and I did this as well. You just go up to the board of trustees and you ask for a meeting, and they usually have meetings, at certain times, and you say, can I speak at your next meeting? And then, inshallah ta'ala, they're going to say yes. And then you bring this proposal with you, and it has an advertisement of the class, and it also talks about the objectives of Seeker Circles, what's the expectation if you host a Seeker Circle, the cost, which is free, the benefits, and how to register. So it's really meant for bring it to your local Islamic center and to hand it to them as you're providing a professional, try your best, subhanAllah, like you're representing potential knowledge that could be coming to your area. And submit this to them, bring copies for each member of the board of trustees, and show confidence that this is something that you believe will bring benefit to your community. And looks like one last question. Do we know for the live classes what day and time this will be occurring? Good question. You determine when you want to watch the videos, but you have to watch it within a certain amount of time as when they're released. We recognize that there's a time difference, right? Because it's going to be recorded in Australia, right, at the Seekers Hub in Sydney, Australia. But it's going to be recorded and broadcast to people, and they can watch at their own time. They can watch at their own time. So if your group wants to meet on Sunday at 12 in the afternoon, that's fine. If your group wants to meet, Friday right after Jummah, that's fine. That's not an issue at all. But you should just watch it and be consistent. So pick a time, pick a place, and be consistent with it. So, Ameen, Jazakallah khair. May Allah grant us all success. And with that, I will close. I only intended to speak for about this time. If you do have any further questions, please feel free to send those questions to circles at SeekersGuidance.org. Okay? And this is after you've already registered. If you have questions or issues and you want to talk to me or get some questions answered, feel free to do that. May Allah bless all of you. May Allah grant us success, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to first of all put this knowledge into our own heart and actions first. We've just been through Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you. May Allah accept all of our deeds, accept all of our dua. May Allah accept all of our qiyam, all of our fasting. Those of us who made itikaf, may Allah accept that. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to be able to see another Ramadan. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to see a Ramadan where we have changed, and oh Allah, may grant us success in that. Oh Allah, may you protect us and forgive us. Oh Allah, may you guide us ever closer to you. Oh Allah, there's no Lord beside you, and we call upon you. Oh Allah, there's no Lord beside you, and we call upon you. Oh Allah, there's no Lord beside you, and we call upon you. There's none to call upon besides you. Oh Allah, we ask that you bless the Seeker Circles. Oh Allah, we ask that you bless the teachers of the Seeker Circles. Oh Allah, we ask that you bless all of those who attend the Seeker Circles. Oh Allah, make this easy for us, and with you, you can make the difficult easy. Oh Allah, there's no Lord besides you. There's no power, no motion save besides you. May you send peace and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. May you shower peace and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. May you send peace and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, upon his family and upon his companions. Oh Allah, Ya Rabbil Alameen. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفر الله ونتوب إليك وصلي اللهم على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله تعالى خيرا for viewing this. I'll be in contact with you inshallah if you wish through email. May Allah bless all of you, and jazakum Allah ta'ala khairan again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.